Hi, welcome. My name is Jason. I'm with Applewood Nissan INFINITI Richmond. I'm one of the sales managers. Today we're going to be talking about the full self-driving beta. So we have multiple vehicles in our inventory that have been enrolled in and been accepted into the Tesla full self-driving beta program. First of all, we're going to talk about what is full self-driving as well as what is the beta program. So full self-driving in vehicles equipped with the later autopilot computers is an optional package available for purchase either with the vehicle new, or you could even upgrade any vehicle equipped with the right computers to the beta program. The FSD will allow the vehicle to park itself. It will allow it to be summoned with the push of a button on your phone, and if you're accepted into the full self-driving program, the beta, it will also drive itself in city streets. That includes making lane changes, turning left and right, following navigation instructions, maintaining road positioning, going over obstacles, parked cars, open car doors, and things like that. So first of all, how do normally people get into the beta program? First thing is, of course, you need to have a vehicle that has full self-driving enabled, or you've upgraded to have it enabled in your vehicle. Once you're in the program, you do need to go into your autopilot screen, opt into the beta program. It's going to ask you for some terms and conditions acceptance, and once you've accepted it, it will start the process of getting the beta. To get into the beta, you do need to log a minimum about 160 kilometers or so of autopilot driving while maintaining a reasonably high safety score. Safety score is something Tesla will assign to your vehicle and to your driving based on your driving habits as well as how you drive. A few major factors of the score include following distance to the vehicle in front of you, so if you fall at a safe distance or not, how rapidly you decelerate or brake under normal scenarios, how quickly you turn through corners, and one of the major factors is if you drive in a way that the emergency braking system does not come on. When it does trigger the autonomous emergency braking, it does ding your score quite a bit. So you do want to be careful not to do that. Once you're in the beta program, the vehicle will notify you via a software update that you have been accepted into the program, in which case then we can unlock the full self-driving potential. Once you're in the full self-driving program, to enable it, it's a double tap down of the driving stock similar to your regular autopilot, but we'll notice later on along the drive you'll see the screen displays quite a bit more detail. The vehicle will perform in a lot more scenarios compared to just autopilot, including city streets, including stop signs, including traffic signal lights, left and right turns. You'll all handle that on your own. Now there are some limitations to the system. Major one being is it is a system that does require the driver to full attention at all times in its current state, which means you do need to keep your hand on the steering wheel and ready to take over with the brake or accelerator pedal if need be. The vehicle will detect if we are not holding onto the steering wheel. It will flash a little blue warning light on the dash, asking you to please place a little bit of torque on the wheel to ensure that you are watching the road as well as paying attention. On top of that, once you've been accepted into the full self-driving program, the cabin camera will also monitor your movements, where your eyes are watching, where your hands are placed to ensure drivers' compliance with the program. There is something to be careful of with the full self-driving system is in that it is currently still needing driver attention and potential monitoring and taking over of controls, but also when you're driving around, you will notice if you do not heed the warnings to show the vehicle you're paying attention. So if you ignore the blue warning signs, the vehicle will issue a strike, and then it will stop full self-driving for the remainder of that drive. Now, if a vehicle accumulates 5 strikes, you are going to be removed from the beta program. The last time Tesla actually did a reset was very recently, only a few weeks ago. But prior to that, it was about a 2-year period before they did a reset of some strikes on the vehicle. So you do want to be careful when driving under full self-driving to ensure you do pay attention and you do not get any strike violations. Experience the vehicle and how it drives later on in our drive. So FSD beta, here we go. Right now I have the vehicle on the normal screen here, so you have your small little screen here and you have your navigation information over here. And I'm actually going to go put it on a full screen mode. So the vehicle does require me to keep monitoring at all times. And I'm just a little bit confused right now trying to get around this car. Sure, I'll let it do its thing. I think the snow is probably confusing it a little bit compared to usual. There we go, back on track. Most people would not be driving in this type of weather condition under normal circumstances in Vancouver at least. So the vehicle will drive, it will signal, it will stop for vehicles turning, all on its own, with very little input from the driver except to confirm that you have your eyes on the road, your hand on the wheel. It will occasionally flash a blue warning at the top to ask you to torque the wheel just like that a little bit, make sure you're paying attention, and then the vehicle will continue on its own. So even in a nice Vancouver snowstorm, the vehicle will slow down for corners, it'll make the turns, it'll stop at stoplights and whatnot, stop signs. So you got a stop sign upcoming here, and we'll see how it handles it. Oh, signal on its own there. Comes to a complete stop. This is nice and safe. I always hover my hand over the wheel. And the screen here, you'll notice it's quite different than your regular autopilot screen. The red lines indicate the road edges as a computer perceives it, and then it will detect lines, dotted lines, solid lines, double solid lines, etc. And then it will identify it on the screen. If we had lots of vehicles around, it will also show details for vehicles such as open doors, signals, flashing lights, brake lights. It will also display on the vehicle models. So it's actually very cool. You can, under FSD, set how fast you want the vehicle to go. Right now I'm just a little bit touch over the speed limit. You can actually set what the default is, such as if you prefer to drive at a speed of, say, 10 over the speed limit, you can actually set it right here with a fixed offset. Right now this particular vehicle is offset to 12 kilometers an hour. So if we were in a 50 zone, it's going to do 62. So I'm going to bring it down to 10 over. There. So in the 50 zone, it will do 60, which is what most normal people in our area here tend to drive. It's a little bit unnerving at first having the vehicle drive for you in busy city and snowing conditions, but the system does tend to detect objects around quite well, and you can see it on the screen. This little line in front of the car is the vehicle's intended path. And you can see it recalculates as there's objects and vehicles around. So if there's a vehicle stopped in front of us, it will try to path around the vehicle if need be. So this is a left turn here. Let's just see if the vehicle waits for a nice clearing. And it goes. Look at that, even went around the snowbank. When the line turns a lighter shade of blue or gray, it means the vehicle is a little bit less certain as far as what it sees and what it does. In climate conditions such as today, we may see that a little bit more than usual as there's lots of snow. As you can see, the vehicle will see cars around you as there are cameras positioned all around. And it will determine if it needs to get out of the way of things. It'll determine if it needs to slow down, such as right now. I always hover my foot on the brake pedal in case I need to intervene at any point. But the vehicle is essentially just driving all on its own. The car can see some things that I can't see because of the certain camera angles that it has access to, such as I can only look forward and not side at the same time, but it actually sees all around at any given point. So the situational awareness is quite good. When it detects there's a vehicle in front of us, it will identify it as the vehicle it wants to follow. And then you'll notice the line actually continues forward to the vehicle in front of it, so it's watching for the vehicle in front as well. And just earlier you saw the little flashing blue light at the top of the screen. That's the system telling me to give a little bit of a tug on the wheel, just to make sure that I'm paying attention to the road and I'm paying attention to what's going on. Beautiful Richmond on a snowy day. We get like 4 or 5 of these days in the year, and we pick the best day. So we got a stop light upcoming. It's a red light. It's already slowing down. It sees it's red. Nice stopping distance. Now, a few cool things you can do with the FSD screen, because it has such a wide field of view, you can actually pan it around and see what's going on all around your car in all sorts of different angles. Ones that you normally would not be able to see with your naked eye because of pillars and seats and people and other cars or trees in the way. The computer identifies and it will basically position everything around you very, very quickly. Newer models run on an AMD Ryzen GPU processor. This 2021 does run on a Intel Atom processor. But the newer 2022, 2023 models do run on a bit of a faster FSD computer. FSD is a fully camera-based system, so the vehicle does have cameras in the middle here, inside the cabin. You got your 2 front fender cameras, your 2 side cameras, as well as the rear camera. It does not rely on LiDAR, it does not rely on radar. Even if you have an older Tesla that has radar equipped, it will default to machine vision system. So in a busy intersection here, you can see the vehicles identified 15, 20 different cars, plotted the trajectory of each one, and just to make sure that we are in a safe driving path. Makes our everyday commute a lot more relaxing. The computer or the vehicle will do the bulk of the heavy lifting with you as the supervisor. So here's moving into the left turn lane. It signals on its own, of course. One of the first things I noticed when I started driving on FSD is I actually did have a tendency of being a little bit more on the right side of the lane, and the vehicle drives in the middle. So it took a little bit of time to get used to and to adjust myself to that in a good way. Because we're seated on the left side, it's easier for the computer. The computer can better analyze and determine lane positioning than at least I could. So I made some adjustments with my personal driving, and it has helped improve that. So in cases like this, on an unprotected left turn, the vehicle will go when it can detect that it is safe to do so. You'll sometimes notice at stop signs and turns, the vehicle will creep forward a little bit just to get a better camera angle until it can make sure there's a safe path, and then it will proceed. So you got some left turns in, you got some right turns in, lots of city traffic, lots of snow. Fortunately, it hasn't accumulated on the ground too much. When there is snow accumulation on the ground and the vehicle detects there's slippage, it will ask you to take over control, as the conditions may not be ideal for the autonomous driving systems. All right, so we have reached our destination. Thank you very much for joining me, and have a great day.